All right, everybody, what's happening, man? It's your boy C Wells, aka the tour guide of the SWAC, coming at you with another edition of SWAC Talk. And if you've seen the thumbnail of this video, man, then you know what this is about. And let me let you know off top, this is damn near clickbait, man. I don't click off now because I just want to have a little fun with this. Well, I'm not serious with this at all, man. I'm gonna explain, why I'm saying what I'm saying. But there was a few things that made me make this video, other than the fact that I didn't really have nothing else to talk about. I wanted to drop a video today. So with that being said, man, thank you for tuning in, number one. And make sure you hit those socials, Facebook at Swag Talk, Instagram at Swag Talk, Twitter, Swag Talk 76, and email at swagtalk76 at gmail.com. Make sure you subscribe to the channel while you're here if you haven't done so already, and like the video, share them, uh, and hit that notification bell, man. Because we've been dropping some interviews the last few weeks. We might have some more stuff coming through. My boy DJ got him a nice new spot at Bama State. We might be able to make some things happen now. So I'm not saying we are, but I'm just saying you just never know. So hit that notification bell, man. You could be alerted to the videos when we drop them. That's not on my Wednesday, Sunday schedule. Tomorrow, Swag Smoke live as usual, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Episode number 49 coming at you. Got episode 50 coming up in a minute, and we'll probably do something special for the Big 5-0. So we'll let you know what's going on with that. So with all that out of the way, man, like I said, this video, man, is mainly just me just being whatever, silly, whatever. Um, I like, let me preface a lot of stuff, man, because I know a lot of people out there, they see this title, they get up in arms or they feel away. Um, First and foremost, man, I've learned to not argue with anybody on either side of an argument on that blue app. And this is this has been something that I've been seeing a lot of people go back and forth with, and they're arguing almost like two different points of view. They're not arguing on the same scope, and it leads to some. Sometimes it's funny to me, sometimes it's frustrating, but it leads to some interesting interactions because they're both coming at each other and they're not really even remotely in the same ballpark in terms of ideas and thinking. So that's number one. Number two, this is all hypothetical and it's just for fun. I'm not saying this is something that's gonna happen, and if it do, it's gonna happen in some years, man. Because yes, some things can take place, some big bags can be dropped, but there's an overall foundation that needs to be built and be steady to even attempt a move that I'm talking about. To me, the ideal move would be to go G5, and then as time progresses, you move up because nobody really goes from FCS to Power Five. I mean, hey, it can happen. I mean, anything can happen. When you look at things in a way that something can happen, yes, it can. If the circumstances were right and the stars all align. But that's neither here nor there. So I I said JSU should go to the Big 12 in the future when when this this bombshell that's dropping on college football right now. When it settles, you're probably gonna have three 24, 30 team leagues. I don't know when they're gonna stop, but you're gonna have the Big 12 and the SEC and probably the Big 12. I mean Big 10, the SEC, and probably the Big 12 because the ACC probably gonna go kaput when FSU, Clemson, Miami, and Carolina all leave and go to their respective locations. And the Pac-12 is already hanging on by a thread right now. They're in a very tedious spot. So tenuous spot. Sorry, I'm using words all wrong. They're in a tenuous spot right now. So that conference is probably. I'm not saying it's dead now, but in 2020, 25, 2030, it's probably going to be gone. So the Big 12 will probably be your South to West conference because they are in Florida now because of UCF. So that's to me that would be your ideal landing spot when you look at look at a conference, and and a lot of people, they look at these things and they don't look at the whole scope of things, or they don't know the whole scope of things. Number one, to before you even talk money, before you even talk size of your stadium, before you talk anything like that on the football side of things, to join the Big Ten, unless your name is Notre Dame, who they got a serious crush on, just like the ACC do, because Notre Dame is just Notre Dame. Everybody wants them. So unless you're Notre Dame, you will most likely have to be a member of the AAU, which is the Association of American Universities. Every team, every school in the Big Ten is an AAU university, including USC and UCLA. They're both members of the AAU. And in case you don't know, the AAU is it's an association of American research universities devoted to maintaining a strong system of academic research and education. That's from the Wikipedia. It was founded in 1900. It consists of 63 universities in the United States, both public and private, and 2 in Canada. AAU membership is by invitation only and requires an affirmative vote of 3/4 of the current members. So if you're not an AAU institution at this point, you're probably not going to be one unless you really step up your research and things like that, and get the approval to join. So number one, like I said, unless you're a AAU school that's not in the Big Ten, um, they probably not going to come at you. And that don't matter how much, how many football games you win. That don't, now if they get to the point where they see the SEC is leaving them in the dust and they got all these contenders and everything, and they realize that, hey, it's time to start going a different way, they may opt to do that. They want to, rumors are that rumors are that Washington and Oregon want to join the conference, and they're both AAU universities, so they fulfill that requirement. But I don't think that Big Ten is really rocking with them like that right now. So, with that being said, the Big 12 is your other spot. Now that may sound like a leftover spot, but that's a better spot to land in. There's no BS requirements other than being able to get the invitation that they have to offer you to make that move. You cannot move up without a conference invite. The days of moving up independent and doing your thing is done. You can't do that no more. I think Liberty was like the last team to do that. Maybe Coastal Carolina was in that group, but that's they don't want you to do that anymore. So you need to have a conference invite to move up. So the Big 12 to me is the spot. If there is a spot in this hypothetical scenario, if there was a spot, that would be the place. Obviously, it's not the most glamorous conference at this point, but there's a lot of solid football teams in this conference. You have your holdovers, Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, TCU, Baylor, and then you're adding and West Virginia, which they way over there in the East. But West Virginia, then you're adding Cincinnati, Houston, UCF, and BYU. So with the expansion rumors going around, they're most likely looking at adding Colorado, Utah, and Arizona schools from the Pac-12. And a lot of people feel like if Oregon and Washington don't get in, they'll probably offer them too. But in this world, if that spot came open and you can make it happen because you got the money from here and there, and you got your budget lining up with what everybody else has, because your budget is gonna have to line up. You can't, when you talk these kind of things, I don't feel like you can ignore that stuff, because yes, you can get that, but you have to still take that into account when you talk these kind of things. So now, like I said, if this was to work and they were to maybe cop a couple other AAC teams, American Athletic Conference teams, And then that would be if you look at the map, that would be a nice spot for a team from out of the SWAC, JSU, primarily because they're probably the only one at this point who even being considered or talked about for this. So they would be able to really fill in a gap in that league, because there's no teams uh, in between Houston and Orlando. There are no teams in between that spot. So, that's a nice little stop off point, maybe a travel partner for somebody, maybe you add, I don't know, like a Tulane or somebody like that. And, you have that spot. So this is something, like I say, I don't see this happening in anytime soon. I do think at some point in the near future, JSU will be in position to make a move up to FBS, but I feel like they'll probably be more of a Sunbelt team. I feel like Sunbelt because right now, the Sunbelt is probably your number one or number two G5 team, G5 conference, because Conference USA is just like a land of misfit toys right now. And then you have the WAC, which don't know what they want to do right now, and then the MAC is the MAC is doing their own thing. The MAC is kind of like the FBS SWAC in a way. They do their own thing. They don't really worry about nobody else. They got their thing and they do it, and they cool with that. So I feel like they will make this move. The university and the athletic department, all sports, not just football, continue to develop the way they are, and the money continues to come in the way it is. They'll be in a position to make a move, and I think that Sunbelt would be a great spot for them. Now, like I said, all of this can change in weeks if some of these other dominoes start falling. Because once dominoes start falling, conferences are gonna get desperate. They're gonna start trying to snag these guys and these guys here. So you might have an opportunity to come up, but it's gonna be a minute before that even happens. Even if you get your ducks in a row. So it's a fun conversation and it's a hypothetical thing and it's something that you shouldn't take too seriously. Yeah, but it's something to have fun with. But like I say, just to see people arguing over this is ridiculous because they're typically never arguing from the same height. They're not always seeing eye to eye when they argue, and people always accusing people of hating, getting too sensitive, or whatever. When some people are talking numbers and facts and others are not. You get that divide right there. So it's kind of fun to watch sometimes, and sometimes it's not. But I just wanted to come on and share my thoughts on that. So, like I said, this don't take me saying that I think it's gonna happen next week, tomorrow, or whatever. And let me also say before I get up out of here, I see this a lot. Your performance on the field does not always dictate you being able to move up. When Georgia State moved up from FCS to FBS, they were horrible. They sucked. A team like Charlotte, they hadn't even been playing football that long, and they weren't good. FIU was okay, but they weren't great when they moved up. So it's you have these teams that move up that aren't your App States or your Georgia Southern or your Coastal Carolinas. So you will have some teams that move up that probably shouldn't have, but they had the ability to do so. So those two things don't always have to correlate. So I just want to throw that out there because a lot of times people use that as an opposition to people saying, "Oh, this team should move up." It don't matter how many national championships you won in FCS. Georgia State never even made the playoffs, and they had an opportunity to move up to the FBS level. So, and they had basically made their program with the idea to fast track it to the FBS. But that I just want to say that those two things don't correlate. I mean, it's not one and one thing. So I think if you're gonna argue that, then leave that out of it. And other than that, man, like I said, I don't have nothing else to say because I just wanted to come through and have a little fun with this, because everybody's talking about it, and it can happen. But I wanted to present another side of it and drop a couple of jewels if you didn't know about that, because like I said, Big 12 is snooty as hell, and they got certain ideas that they believe in, and if you don't fit that, then you probably not gonna get past the velvet rope. So Big 12, that could be, you know, if you want to run with a narrative and run with some fun, Big 12, man. You know, forget about the Big 10. I mean, yeah, I know the money is there, but that money ain't gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Big 12 had their most profitable year this past season. And, you know, without those big hands trying to snatch everything up, more opportunities for more money is there. And, you know, like I said, if you continue to have a product and a brand that's huge, you might be able to dictate some things, you know, when people go to the meeting tables. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get on up out of here. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Like I said, Swag Smoke coming at you tomorrow live, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we up out of here, man. Y'all have a good day. Peace.